Thanks for joining us today for BRMC's Healthy Connections with our guest Jodi Owens. Jodi, tell us what's going on over at the Reppell Diabetes Learning Center. I know you got some big events coming up.
We do. We have our regular scheduled programming and all of our diabetes management classes always going on, and also we've got our registered dietitian, Miss Jan, there full time, and she's just been so busy and so many wonderful things with her and her new healthy eating classes that she's been doing in her cook's kitchen.
We've seen her wonderful kitchen. She
Yes.
brought it out to, well, y'all brought it out to the health fair
Right.
this year. And we got a lot of good feedback from that from folks. She made this incredible chicken salad.
She did. And she was
all right there at the fairgrounds with her
Yes.
portable kitchen. So that was a lot of fun.
She's very excited about that, and I think it's going to be just one more step in getting some of the, just community involvement and awareness about healthy eating and being more nutritiously minded. I mean, we oftentimes just don't realize the foods that we consume in a day's time, and so I think it kind of gives us a little different look. And of course, Jan is there and glad to provide any insight or any information nutrition-wise for her, just long list of different credentials and things. She has a renal certification now for our kidney dialysis patients, and she's obviously with the diabetes and just any and every nutritional aspect, and she's there for all of it. And so I just love it. It's great. It's a great resource for me. It's a great resource for everybody and for the community. So it's been really fun. It's been exciting. We've had a great start to the year, and being at the health fair last week, it was just seeing everybody out there and having such a good turnout.
We were very thankful that we had beautiful weather. It was just perfect, and it was a steady flow this year. We've talked about that numerous. You never know who's going to be there or how many are going to show up. But we had just under 2,000 that showed up, came through. But as I say, it was a nice steady flow. There was, of course, with the free screenings, we always have folks lined up and waiting for the doors to open, ready to go.
And that's great because it's a great way to, get a check, take a little bit closer look, and on our part with the diabetes wise, there was a blood sugar component on there, and so it is a good indication or a good look to, maybe investigate a little further, or maybe take another look, get out to your physician's office and get some other lab follow-ups in case there is a problem. And catching it early and detecting early things, even diabetes, can be really crucial and really beneficial. So,
would you go through the steps? You've been on the show before, but it would be wonderful if you went through, because I know you're one of the few community houses that does require a physician's referral. So
we do.
Patient goes to their doctor.
And a lot of times the doctor will go ahead and refer the patient based upon their need or their criteria. We do offer what we call a pre-diabetes class, which is if you're, used to be we called it borderline, and so that's always a beneficial class. That's just a one-time. But if a patient has the diagnosis of diabetes and they need help, or they've had some changes, maybe they're newly diagnosed, maybe they've had diabetes for many years and they've just experienced some different things, then the physician will extend that referral to us and say, go on over to the diabetes center, learn a little bit more about maybe the medicine that you're taking or the foods that you're eating. A lot of times,
they're both always changing.
Sure, and a lot of times the foods and the food questions are very, very prominent and important, but we tend to dig and dive way deeper than just the run-of-the-mill, here's a pamphlet, here you go, because it's so individualized, and we try to get down to, what do you enjoy, what do you like to do activity-wise, how can we make that more beneficial to you for your, not only for your diabetes, but for your cardiovascular health and those types of things. And we try to just work with the physician. Patients can come by and request referrals as well. We do a lot of that. Simply just giving us a little bit of information, and we send that over for the doctor. And then it's a way to get that good. We provide 10 hours of education. Now, we don't do it all at once. We break it down. 10 hours is a long time. It's an endurance test.
You will be there now.
A couple of hours for about 5 general sessions is usually what we try to do. And with the physician's referral, then it's usually very little to no cost to the patient, and that's what's so beneficial about it. With having two full-time, you know, I'm a registered nurse, Jan's a registered dietitian. We also have a consultant nurse there on staff part-time as well, and so that's Miss Sherry, and so we're able to cover just about any aspect. And working with the physician.
Because it is individualized. Yeah. Each person's going to be different.
So different.
What motivates them, and where their blood sugars are.
And it's so incredibly just beneficial, I think, for the patients and even for the support. We often, and we encourage people to bring their support people, whether it's your spouse or your best friend or your neighbor or your sister or your brother, just whatever works, and whoever that person is in your life that keeps you motivated or that checks on you regularly.
Who's your walking buddy?
And who's your going out to eat buddy, and that type of thing. And so we can kind of bring in some of that support and hopefully be long lasting with it. And then there are so many free services that we do offer. You know, we have our free meters. We do have a free monthly support group that we have for type 2 diabetes, and then we do quarterly activities and different things with our type 1 groups. So all of those things. Can you explain the difference
between type 1 and type 2 for folks?
I can. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder, whereas type 2 is more of a metabolic disorder. And most of the time with type 1, we see that diagnosed very early on. It used to be thought of as juvenile diabetes. And with type 2, usually speaking, it's longer or later on in life because it is dealing with the patient or the person's metabolism and the way that we process the foods that we eat and utilize all of our energy sources and our nutrition. And so there is a big difference, and there is a big breakdown of that. We do see younger folks with type 2. We do see more mature folks with type 1. But generally speaking, it's a breakdown of, you know, just where initially is the problem, and then what can we do to help fix it. And sometimes it's insulin dependence. I think that was a general term used for type 1s years ago. Nowadays, we see our type 2 patients utilizing insulin as well. And
is a lot of this due to obesity and what people are eating?
Some of it is.
Are they bringing it on themselves, so to speak?
Not really. No, it's more
some of those myths that are out there.
Right. It's more of a genetic and environmental mix. It really is, because we now see with both, with either type 1 or type 2, the genetic link. We also see the genetic link with type 2 now. And yes, there are environmental factors and obesity, what we eat, what we do activity-wise, the different things that are going on are going to have an impact on both of those. Both of those disease processes. But really and truly, it's not, and I tell people, it's not brought on by any one certain thing, because we're all so different and we're all created so differently. I have recently had patients, one of them, they're twins, and one of them had come through the class, and she was diagnosed several years later than her identical twin. And so I thought that they're both, you know, with the diabetes, but it's very different. And so again, even an identical twin having different environmental factors and things. So it's very interesting, and I think getting further down the road and learning more about insulin resistance and insulin deficiency is going to help with both of those things. So it is, and it's just, what can we do with the here and now? You can't change what's happened. You can't change your genes. And so what do we do here and now to maintain, to live life and to have
and enjoy it full life.
And enjoy your foods and enjoy the things that you do. And
it's not take everything that you have always enjoyed away.
And years ago it was no sugar, you know, diabetes, you can't have any sugar, and that's just not the case anymore. You know, our folks enjoy a variety of everything and what they like.
When you mentioned Jan Halligan, the dietary nutritionist, when we've had her on the show before, first thing that she does is bring out a plate, and it is so much smaller than most of us serve our dinner on at home.
And it
it's
truly
a lot of
is
portion control.
It's not what you eat, it's the size and the amount of what you're eating. And then also the mix or the combination of foods. That can make a huge difference.
She's always telling you, get real colorful. Get those vegetables
yes,
in. So.
She loves that. She loves to she says the colors of the rainbow that need to be on your plate, and I think that's a great thing. We go back to, you know, just the
basic primary colors.
That's right, exactly.
Jodi, we need to take a short break, but let's continue as soon as we get back.
Sure.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.